like the
Well, I just think
last.
Chinese studios just haven't been getting clout. Like a lot of like the crazy visuals that you see in a lot of games, like a lot of them and like art style and stuff like that, like the actual 3D models. A lot of that is done by like actual like Chinese third party like outsourcing.
Let's talk about something that came out of the woodworks. There's a game coming out of China called Black Myth Wukong. It looks like a Dark Souls-esque type action adventure game where you play as Wukong, which is like an ancient Chinese story that like Dragon Ball is based off of. Journey to the West, all that bullshit. It's getting a lot of hype. There was a 13-minute demo. It came out of nowhere. It was not in English, but it went viral and like the internet's going crazy to the point where actually the developers like released a statement and they were saying that like they're actually embarrassed by how much hype and excitement people have for this game. They said, to be honest, that they said that they have better shit to show. They feel like this is not even like their final form, basically, and they're going into hiding. And they're going to focus on developing the game because they just didn't expect this response. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a cultural difference thing and like they didn't expect it. Like they're probably like shy people or something, but this is cool. This is a pleasant surprise. You got any hot takes on this Wukong gameplay? Because during my streams, every like 100 times a stream, did you see the Wukong gameplay? What you think, Dad?
Nah, like I think that they deserved all the hype and all the viral nature that this 13-minute demo got. Like for them to come on and say that this isn't even like the tip of the iceberg, that looked amazing. Like especially since it's primarily a smaller studio, even though the person Zug, who usually like is really big on like the Chinese game, when he showed it. And then he was going over like the details on like the studio. He said like it was like initially a studio of like 19 people, but he said he counted like 40 people. So obviously they've expanded. So it's a bigger studio than what it is, but it's still not anywhere near like a AAA type of studio. But the game looked amazing. Like from what we saw, like it looked fire. Again, we don't know if it's going to be Dark Souls-esque. It kind of looked like it, but it might end up being more of like, I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit more forgiving. Yeah, I would say like Star Wars. Like it's going to be it looks like it might be a little bit more forgiving than a Dark Souls or a Sekiro. But in any case, man, they said that Wukong, like this game is gonna have 72 abilities that he can do. That's a lot. Like when you think about it, 72. Because Wukong, Wukong has been in like pretty much like every single game, like every MOBA. Yeah, that's what Goku was based off of. Yeah, that's what Goku was based off of. Wukong, for those who didn't know. So like, man, like he was doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like this game looked really, really good. So. Like, especially since the trailer went viral, they better bring this over to the States. I want to play this like now. Yeah, that game looked fire, bro.
That's my main concern. Like, I agree. Like, it looks like a next gen title. Like the physics on like the beard and the hair looks real nice. The destruction in the environment, the combat look fire. But that's my main concern. This is a Chinese developed game.
Oh, and now y'all care about China.
And I'm just curious. Like, is this gonna come over here? Because it seems like I said, they were surprised by the hype. It didn't seem like they had intentions for this to come to the West. So like, how are they gonna? Who's gonna pick it up? Who's gonna bring it over here? And if I had a sneaky suspicion, the Epic Game Store, it'll become exclusive because it's China and Tencent, baby. They can make that connection. Who's gonna pick it up is the question.
I'm almost positive that's an Unreal Engine game.
Yeah, it looks Unreal. It definitely does.
Bro, did you see it when you saw that enemy that had the yeah, bro? Did you see those lighting effect? That shit, bro. That's UE.
It looks
that was like
gen.
UE5, yo. Yeah,
that's Niagara. Like I was watching the trailer and I was like, oh shit, I know how they did this. Like it was really cool. There's like a couple things I saw. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, they're using like this and like the destruction. I was like, yeah, I know what they're using for that stuff. It's actually really good. So like, no, they did a fantastic job with the engine. Like I give them props. Like I don't know how many people are working on this game, but like it's visually it is stunning. The gameplay looks great too. So like, I mean, yeah, I'd be willing to try the game out. Yeah, the 70 abilities things look kind of crazy. I'm assuming though, if they bring it to the States, they might have to delay it because they'd have to like bring localization to it. So they probably need like they're gonna need a publisher to like fund that localization.
So like if it came out, then like whenever it comes out in China, we'll probably get it like a year later if we're lucky. Yeah.
If they allow, because there's a bunch of other. I don't know how China deals with like their people, their studios games coming out like internationally, like what that even entails. So I don't.
Yeah, that's another thing because they just got consoles in China. So like, was this developed even for the PS4 or the Xbox in mind? Like, I feel like this was just a PC game.
Yeah, who knows? Like again, like I don't know a lot of the back history on this game, so like I don't know like who the developers are. I don't know how big the studio is, how long they've been working on like this stuff. Like I just don't know. So we'll see. But no, I've kind of said it before, and I kind of believe it that I think like what we're gonna get next gen is like there's like gonna be a huge burst of like Chinese developed games that are about to appear like in like AAA space. Because like I've kind of what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the games that you play nowadays are actually built by people in China. Through like outsourcing. And I think it's like
you have examples?
Oh yeah. Pick a AAA game. Halo Infinite, China. Basically any AAA game that has a massive budget, GTA, any of the most of them, the way that these games get built is because they use funding. I mean, not funding. They hire basically what's called outsourcing studios in China, and they hire them to help build assets for the game. Yeah, it's fun fact. Yeah, fun fact. Like, yeah, a lot of the games that you've played in the past like 5-6 years, a lot of them have had outsourcing to studios, and they're really good. They're really fucking good.
For simple niggas, basically what you're trying to say is China has been doing background vocals for Western developers for like
I just think Chinese studios just haven't been getting clout. Like a lot of like the crazy visuals that you see in a lot of games, like a lot of them and like art style and stuff like that, like the actual 3D models, a lot of that is done by like actual like Chinese third party like outsourcing, sometimes Japan, but a lot of it's like Indonesia, Vietnam, China, like those areas are actually like huge hotbeds of like studios that like AAA studios hire. Like if you go on ArtStation, you can find a couple of them and say, hey, we've been clients of like Rocksteady, we've been clients of like Witcher. Like you'd be surprised, and they'll show you like their portfolios. You'll see stuff that's been in like games that you play. You'd be like, oh my god, I had no clue they worked on this. Like this character.
So what you're saying is they basically been doing background vocals, but don't be surprised if during the PS5 generation
like, hey,
they come out, they're gonna step out,
they know, come out on the forefront with
and I mean they like hit like tell me how many times like we've seen news of like a Chinese developer revealing their game and people being blown away by it. They're like, oh my god, this looks crazy, and they're just like, yeah, I've just been working on it on my off time, like in some Chinese dude. Like what was that shooting game? That was one Chinese developer, and then he got a studio for it. And then there was that DMC like game that was also a Chinese developer. Like yeah, there's a lot of these types of games that
there's 3 billion people over there. I'm sure there's a ton of untapped talent over there. So.
Exactly. So for a little backstory, the developer is called Game Science Studio, and it said it was founded in 2014 by ex-Tencent staff. So.
Epic Game Store. Do not be surprised when it comes to it.
Yep, ex-Tencent staff said they made other games before, and they've been working on this particular game for more than 2 years, so like 2+ years.
They said this is not the final form. We're definitely gonna keep an eye on this one. They said that they're not gonna show anything again for a while just because they're embarrassed and they want to go into hiding. They don't like the hype. So I don't be surprised if like a year from now this pops back up with like a release date or something like that. That's what I would say.
Big games, baby.
Yeah, cool shit. Check it out. The name of the game is Black Myth Wukong. Go on YouTube and search it up. There's a 13-minute demo. Check out the gameplay so you can see what we're referencing and get an idea of what to expect.